Got our 2017 Raptor here, and we are gonna change spark plugs on it today.
Man on a mission, I'ma get it, you know I be on a what?
Pop on the hood down here next to the footwell. Then up on the hood latch right about here in the center. Thankfully it has hood struts. This is similar to the Mustang, so we're gonna have to remove a couple of bolts down in here to be able to remove this cover. It's held on there with a 10mm nut. Once both of those are removed, you can now take off the top. We'll now need to release each one of our caps. So what you're gonna do is pull back on the white tab. That unlocks it. Then you'll push down on the back side of it and pull off. All of your caps are held in place with an 8mm bolt. So you're gonna need to release that before you can remove them from the vehicle. Pulling these out, be careful because you don't want to drop this down into that, because that will be a bad day. But once you have it out, you can now pull up and out pops your coil. Next, I'm going to grab my extension and my spark plug socket. If you're wondering what the difference is between a spark plug socket and a standard socket, if you look down in here, you can see in this one, you have a rubber grommet in there. What that's going to do is help you grab onto the end of the spark plug and pull it up out of the engine, whereas on a standard, you're not going to have that. If the spark plug job that was done before you was done correctly, they should only be slightly snug in there and come out fairly easy. As long as the spark plug now loosened, we can slide her on out, and there we have it, the old spark plug. You can see it's a little bit burnt on the top here, but that's because it's down into a cylinder that's getting fired on all the time. For my new spark plugs, I decided to go with these NGK Iridiums. The race team always uses NGK. I've used them on all of my other vehicles, and I absolutely love them. Inside, you'll find your plug. Everything's looking all nice and shiny. You always want to inspect these, make sure that they're in good condition, because this bottom piece here is porcelain. So if you drop it, it can get broken. So you want to make sure that everything's intact. And then you're also going to want to check your gap. For this Raptor, we need to gap it to 0.28. Now, if you don't know how to gap a spark plug, you can grab one of these from AutoZone or most auto parts stores. It's pretty cheap. It's usually up there by the register. All you have to do is slide this in between the igniter and the tip of your spark plug and roll it around until the edge of it meets the number in which you need, which for us is 0.28. While you're at AutoZone, make sure that you go ahead and you pick up a couple of things as well. You want to pick up your anti-seize grease, which will be put on the threads of your spark plug. That way, for next time when you need to remove these, they're not going to get stuck down in there. The other thing that you want to get is your dielectric grease or spark plug boot protector. All you're going to do is put a little bit of that in the end of your boot or the end of your coil, and that just makes sure that you have a good connection between the spark plug and the coil. With that done, you can now slide your spark plug back down into the hole and tighten it down. Don't overly tighten it because you can break these or you can get it locked up in your engine. So make sure that you check your torque specs before installing your spark plug. I usually just take it all the way down by hand and then one slight turn at the bottom to get it snug. With your grease in the bottom of your boot, you now pop it back into place. Press down until you hear a little click. In most cases, tighten your bolt back down. Your connector, and then make sure you push your white clip back in. And now you're done. Just repeat that for the other spark plugs that you have on your vehicle. For this one, it's going to be 5 more. A couple of things real quick to point out if you're doing this yourself. Over on the driver's side, it's a little bit more cluttered, so watch your knuckles when you're doing this. Otherwise, one thing that I do as I take these out is I do them one at a time so I can inspect them and know exactly which one came out of where. And as I do it, I just clean off the top. Not that you have to necessarily do this. If you want to take them all at once, you can. I just like to do it this way because it keeps me organized. And the final thing is I'm about 6'1" and I needed a stool to get this done. So if you're any shorter than that, you're definitely going to need one of these. When putting your foam cover back on, which by the way, kind of surprised me that this is foam. On the Mustangs, these are all hard plastic. Anyway, this right here, this tube needs to go right back in to those grooves to help seat the back end of this cover in place. Then of course the holes go over the studs and you use the nuts to hold them in place.
Thank you for watching today's episode. If you guys like this, make sure to like and subscribe. Hit those bell notifications so you don't miss anything else that I got coming up. If you like these kind of videos from me, make sure to leave that down in the comments below. It's not too often that I do these how-to quick videos in and out. That's more of the style that I do for RTR vehicles, but I'm more than happy to do that with this as well. I do have a brake job that needs to get done on this 2017 F-150 Raptor. So if you guys want to see that, I'll make sure to film that and put it up here. And a few other things that we need to do. This truck has about 63,000 miles on it now, so there are some things that need to be done. So if you guys want to see any of that, make sure to leave that down in the comments below, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.